Have you ever hit that sweet spot where everything's going right, doors open, and opportunities magically appear? That is what golden alignment is all about. Dr. Beth Golden loves to play in that golden space and teach others how to get there and stay there. Get ready to listen, share, and experience what golden alignment in life can look like for you. Now, here's the host of Golden Alignment, author, speaker, and coach, Dr. Beth Golden.
Hello, and welcome to today's show of Golden Alignment. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and my guest today is Christy Thiel. Christy has been a personal trainer for about 15 years in northern Colorado, and for 5 of those years has been a master nutrition therapist. Christy currently works with health and medical professionals to educate them about the important role that CBD plays in supporting optimal health. Well, I am very excited about talking about this, and we're going to go over several topics. CBD is not a buzzword, it's a wake-up call. There's a lot of confusion about CD, and we're going to clear up, is it legal? What's the difference between hemp and marijuana? Will I get high? Do I need THC? Does CBD contain the active ingredient, psychotropic ingredient THC? How much do I take? And how do I find a good brand? And how does it work? So, Christy, are you with me right now? Okie dokie. We are handling some great technical things. I love the technology. We have people all over the country producing this show. So I'll tell you a little bit about my program. I'm Dr. Beth Golden, and I have a show called Golden Alignment, and I help people get really clear about what they want in their personal and professional lives, because when you're clear, so is everything else. And we go through clarity about self, how amazing you are, what your gifts and talents are, what do you want and why, where do you want to go and when do you want to get there, and then all about that very wonderful aspect of waiting, allowing, and receiving. So I believe I have Christy with me now. Are you there, Christy?
I am. Hi.
Hello. We just, I just had your beautiful introduction about who you are and the questions we're going to be covering about CBD. But before we get into all that, I always like to ask my guests. The show is Golden Alignment, and our alignment shifts throughout life and throughout our professions. So could you give us a little bit of a background regarding the movement from exercise to master nutritionist to how you ended up educating people about CBD?
Sure. So first of all, I love that there is this golden alignment and a beautiful name for the show, and to acknowledge it. And my transition from exercise to nutrition was a complete leap of faith, because I left 15 years of personal training just because I felt like the fakeness was coming on and the roboticness was coming on, and I didn't love it, and I was tired of counting to 10, and just felt like I had done it over and over again, and I had recreated myself more than enough times within that field. And so when I went into CBD, or when I went into nutrition, I didn't have a clear picture. I just was passionate about it, and I started teaching cancer prevention classes, which is where I learned about CBD, which is where I was introduced to the doctor that is our senior medical advisor, and within 3 conversations, I was hook, line, and sinker, and out of nowhere, working for an amazing CBD company. So I think the golden alignment in that one came from not knowing, being open, and being passionate and following a deep desire to be in the nutrition field.
Wow, that is wonderful. Isn't it crazy how, okay, I'm at the cancer center, and then you meet somebody, and then it just takes you on to the next thing. And with Golden Alignment, it's really about being open to those changes in our life. And you've taken more than one leap. You took a leap from exercise and then nutrition, and so do you get a lot of pushback from people regarding CBD at this point?
It's surprising. So definitely, I've been in the CBD world now for 2 years, and definitely, it depends on which state. Let's start there. Yes, less so in Colorado, although it's a little bit surprising when I do, but absolutely positively in the less educated states about CBD and the difference between hemp and marijuana, and there's so much misguided and misinformation around CBD. So there's lots of pushback, but it's usually based on misinformation. So education is so key. And some people just aren't open, and that's okay. That's part of the process is knowing when to walk away. But if someone's open and misguided, it's easier. But yes, there's still tons of pushback because of the misguided information out there.
So in our state of Colorado, Colorado and Washington State were a couple of the first states to legalize recreational marijuana, and medical marijuana had been legalized for quite some time in this state. And we had our growing pains too. So what is your territory? I mean, you're talking to people in a lot of different states. Do you have a territory? How are they finding you? I know I'm throwing lots of questions at you, but it's kind of all around the target area. Let's talk about these.
When I started with the company I'm with, we did not have territory, so it was the entire United States, which is great. And now I'm considered part of the central region, which is Texas and up, and New Mexico, Texas, and some of the southern states, and straight up, which is great because having people on East Coast and West Coast and everywhere in between time zones can be a little challenging. So, and it's interesting. This is such an emerging field. And the early adapters and the people that understand how valuable CBD is, they are calling us. I do very little outreach, and I'd like that to change just so that I can do a little bit more education. But it's been one of those things where it's actually hard to keep up with all the people that would like to have CBD in their practice.
Mhm. So are you mainly working with professionals as opposed to a person at home type of buyer?
Right. So mostly I do wholesale accounts for health and medical professionals, and then help their practice understand and learn how to use CBD and the opportunities of having a CBD presence within their practice.
Okay. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, because my mind immediately goes to chiropractors or a naturopath. Are those the primary sources of people you're talking to right now?
Yes, absolutely. And acupuncturists and nutritionists, people that already understand the value of nutrition, may be familiar with the importance of a healthy endocannabinoid system, and they're ahead of the curve as far as supplements and the importance of like a microbiome or the importance of regulating inflammation and brain health.
Now, I am laughing because I'm very familiar with the term endocannabinoid system. some people would go, the what? And how do I say that? And I'm thinking, here, you're a nutritionist, and you know all the micro and macrobiomes, and I'm with you. I follow you. But say it slowly for people, and if you could explain, for those who haven't heard the term before, what is the endocannabinoid system?
Good starting point. So the endocannabinoid system is a master system that animals and humans have that regulates homeostasis or balance for all systems in the body. So whether it's the nervous system or the immune system or the endocrine system, and how they all regulate and communicate with each other. So it's a master system of in-depth neurological communication. And it's amazing, and it's just starting to be studied now. I mean, they've known about it for a while, but just being able to study it now in medical schools. But yes, the people that are more open to it's not alternatives, but to the impact of natural healing, understand that this is a master system that we all have, and to have a healthy nervous system within the brain and throughout the body is profound, because so many people are dysregulated by stress and trauma.
So it has nothing to do with the endocrine system?
Part of the endocrine system. Sorry, I cut out there for a second.
Okay, I was saying, is it the same thing as the endocrine system? Like, does it follow the same glands, or is it something separate from them?
It's actually within all glands, tissues, and organs, and it helps as a regulatory system for the endocrine system. So there's so many hormones throughout the body that almost act as little neurotransmitters. And so, yes, it is one of the master systems for the endocrine system, hormones, and the communication they have throughout the body.
Well, cool. Well, this is a perfect time for our first commercial break. You are listening to Christy Thiel, and she is educating us about CBD. We have talked about her background and how she went from being a personal trainer to a master nutritionist to working and coaching in a cancer center, and then learning about CBD. So we all kind of are led along a path, divine breadcrumbs, and this is the space that Christy's in right now. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and we'll be picking up this very interesting conversation on the other side of this commercial break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment, with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and today's show we are chatting with Christy Thiel about CBDs, cannabinoid. So is that the correct full term for CBD, Christy?
Yes, cannabidiol.
Cannabidiol. Okay. So I used to work in biopharmaceuticals, and if you put your fingers up like you're saying peace, that's the open receptor, and then the CBD molecule will go into that open receptor to close the loop and help balance the system. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, it's perfect, yes.
Okay. So,
well, if you get enough of it in your system, yes.
Yes. that will be one of the questions. So where do we derive CBD from? Is it from hemp? Is it from marijuana? And then what's the difference between the two plants?
So CBD can be derived from both marijuana and hemp. The main difference is when it is derived from marijuana, there is THC, which is the questionable, usually illegal compound in a lot of states, and the psychoactive compound. When CBD is derived from hemp and it's grown legally, it is available in all 50 states in it, and it's not psychoactive, and you get all the anti-inflammatory and balancing effects of the CBD legally without the high. And that's actually the main difference between hemp and marijuana. They're both cannabis, with the clear distinction that marijuana has THC and hemp grown legally is not to be grown legally. It's not grown over 0.3% THC, which is the distinguishing factor between hemp and marijuana is just the THC content.
Interesting. Now, I love you saying grown legally because hemp is an industrial plant. It's a weed. It grows like crazy. It can be used for lotions. It can be used for shampoo. It can be crushed into a fiber and made clothing out of. And yet it was prohibited by our government to be grown for fear that it would get people high. So is it still illegal in some states to grow hemp?
Yeah, there is I think there is a lot of industries that are probably threatened by the hemp plant because medicine is actually just a very small yet profound part of the benefits of growing hemp. But pretty much every industry can benefit from hemp, whether, like you touched upon it, the fiber industry, the food industry, the plastics industry, the concrete industry. There's the environmental benefits of growing hemp. It's a profound plant for pretty much every industry, maybe except steel, and CBD and medicine is just a small part of that. But we focus a lot on it because we probably know the most about it. But oh my gosh, this plant is profound and grown legally more and more states, especially as this hemp bill passes, hopefully in the fall, and it's acknowledged as a agricultural crop like wheat or soy or corn or oats. It will make it much more available to be grown with the clear distinctions.
Great.
And I have another question about growing. In the state of Colorado, at any rate, you may not grow marijuana outside of an enclosed facility. Everything has to be contained for many, many reasons. Is that the same thing for hemp, or can that be grown out in an open field?
I believe it can be grown out in an open field. I don't know. I think most hemp farmers would find, would protect that somehow, because the average eye probably would not know the difference between hemp and marijuana if they looked at it, especially because it smells similar. So most hemp farmers I know do protect their crops, but a lot of them are grown outside.
Well, it is funny. I live in northern Colorado and pretty near the foothills of our Great Rocky Mountains, and there's this big lot, and there's like one of those big commercial signs, and it says, future home of a hemp field. It does not, this product will not get you high. So basically, don't steal it. But I mean, they have this on the billboard, you know. And I just have to chuckle. I wanted to like take a picture and post it everywhere. Like we're living in an interesting time, because I grew up and this was all, you can't do this. You know?
It's so interesting, and it takes so much education, and it has to. The stigmatism still needs to be removed from the cannabis plant, because the psychoactive part of the cannabis plant's gotten way too much attention, probably in the wrong way, and definitely needs some regulation. But hemp is a profound plant, and yes, medicine is a huge component of it, but just the benefits it has on the environment and how it cleans the soil and the air and all the industries that can benefit from a sustainable point of view from hemp is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I've seen hemp used in building materials, either insulation and or, like you were saying, they can make it into bricks, and it, you know, basically you're making mud and putting hemp in it, or like putting straw in it and making just like it's been done for bazillions of years. You know, you stomp on the mud, you get it wet, you put in the straw, you put it in a form, you dry it. So it's just interesting that there are so many wonderful uses for it. And it's one of those disruptive technologies. Like we went from LPs, which we still have records, you know, to CDs, to MP3s, or we went from film to digital. So all those are disruptive technologies where it kind of blows one of them out of the water. And I think hemp we're kind of on the verge of that. So it'll probably end up that those who have lots of money and can make lots of money will take advantage of its uses. So
absolutely. And I love that word, disruptive, because it is, in a very positive way, disruptive, because people have to rethink as far as how hemp is used in the health world. They have to rethink and open their hearts and minds to a new form of medicine in a whole new system that has not been quite acknowledged enough, and it has a lot more recognition to still come.
Yes, that is such a good point. So that's why I'm glad I have you on my show today, too. Let's talk about how much do you take? I know we talk about the endocannabinoid system, but I think in a very simplified way, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of an elixir. You know, this will make you feel good. It'll give you peace of mind. It balances your body. Are you going to feel a huge change? Do some people who are sensitive feel a big difference when they take it?
I would say 75% of the people feel a change. Sometimes it's transformative, and sometimes it is it's very subtle, and they don't even acknowledge it until they say it's not working, and they take a break, and then they go, oh man, now I know it was working because it was so subtle in their bodies they didn't recognize the changes until they stopped. But I'd say 75% of the people, it's transformative within the very first serving size to the first 2 to 3 weeks. And
really,
and I think that's because it works so strongly. It goes through the blood-brain barrier and starts to really work on the stress response and how we think we've become adapted to it. But, for example, PTSD, 80% of the people affected by PTSD are women and children. But it doesn't affect us like in flashbacks that it does, it's not the same as in veterans. For women and children, it's more, the symptoms are anxiety, depression, overwhelm, withdrawal, insomnia. And when those things become more balanced and less dominating in our lives, it is totally profound to have a more balanced approach to the day where you're reacting less and less to those cues and triggers that cause the stress.
That is really interesting. When you were talking, my mind was going a lot of different directions. We have a big opioid crisis. We keep talking about it as a crisis, so therefore we're feeding the crisis. But I do understand that it is a physical addiction and needs monitoring to wean off of an opioid. But have you found in any of the research or information that you've gotten that once people are able to be off of an opioid, can CBD help them cope with the world around them?
Yeah, it's very, there's a lot of research around this. And just for any of the listeners, if you want to look up PubMed studies, don't put in CBD, put in cannabidiol. And so in particularly with opioids, it works on very similar receptors. And so it helps a lot of people because there are less withdrawals, and it really diminishes the addictive effects. So there's less withdrawals, there's less withdrawal effects, and it replaces the addiction. And CBD is known very well to work on pain as an analgesic. And so people are very open to trying it because they can take it with opioids. There's no adverse interactions, and it will help them, obviously, with their doctor's guidance, decrease, which is the whole idea, is to not take more and more opioids or painkillers, and to find a more natural way to reduce pain and inflammation and get those systems working together. Because pain can be kind of complicated, and this has been proven and it works very well for a lot of people, especially if they want to get off the heavy medication.
Well, this is a perfect time to stop for our second commercial break. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden. I am your host for today's show and for all the shows. And my guest is Christy Thiel, and we are discussing, there's my dog, CBD. And we will pick this up on the other side. We're going to pick it back up as far as it being an analgesic and helping in pain. So stay tuned. There's more fascinating information, and we'll be chatting more on the other side of this commercial break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment, with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden. And my guest today is Christy Thiel, and we are discussing CBD, cannabidiol, right?
Yes. Hi again, Dr. Beth.
Hi. And on the other side, before we had our commercial break, we were talking about using CBD oil in conjunction with getting off of opioids because it helps with the pain response. It can help soothe those nerves that are going, I want this in my body, that horrible withdrawal. And, of course, all of this has to be done with a physician's care and a physician overseeing this process. Now, I have a chiropractor who creates a fabulous product called Relief, and the base oils are CBD and jojoba oil. And the jojoba oil, it'll help it penetrate into your body. And then there are a variety of frankincense, myrrh, of other products. I sprained my ankle. It was sore halfway at my calf. My foot was absolutely purple, so anybody who's had that experience knows that beautiful color. And she sent me some, and it's a roll-on. And I would roll that on and rub it into my foot twice a day. And within 2 to 3 days, the bruising was almost completely gone. And then I started using the roller and just putting it on my face at night as an oil or using it as moisturizer. And I thought, well, it has all these really good ingredients in it, but it was just so luscious. So let's get into products that you represent. We will probably not be using their name unless you choose to do so. So what are the doses strengths that it comes in? Is it all taken internally? Do you have topical products as well?
Yeah, good question, because there is a huge amount of CBD products out there now. And just like any dietary supplement, you have your high quality and you have your really low quality, like your Walmart brands. And so when you're looking for a high quality CBD, it will usually be a full spectrum, which means they take the whole plant instead of just isolating parts of it. And it will usually be organic and mixed with either a high-quality MCT oil or liposome extraction, something that is full plant, though, is really important. And I think within the whole entire industry, everyone agrees, more is not better. And you start at whatever the company you're using, their lowest suggested serving size. And then with the company I work with, our doctor says increase boldly and rapidly, especially because when you're addressing symptoms or conditions, you want relief. And so the slow and steady buildup may not be as beneficial as just getting to that relief point. And there's nothing toxic about CBD. You clear it every 6, 12, or 24 hours, depending on what receptors it's hitting. So there's no toxicity. There are not adverse interactions with medications. And when you titrate up, as far as with the company I work with in the product, You double one serving size every 1 to 3 days. And it's surprising, and it still blows my mind, and I'm so impressed that a lot of people actually feel better even at the minimal serving size. However, I always like to say CBD is a lot like hydration, and there is certainly not a magic bullet, but we all feel better when we're hydrated. And everyone has different hydration points. So if someone's dehydrated and they say, oh, look, I drank a glass of water and I don't feel better, so water's not working for me. It's like, no, we all need our optimal amount of CBD, and we all need our optimal amount of hydration. So when it comes to any supplement, including CBD, which is so profound for the body and its systems, people really need to be open to experimenting and kind of going through the spectrum. If it's working at the lowest serving size, great, stay there. But if it's not, increase it, experiment. It's not going to do anything but give you the only side effects are health. And so people always, I don't want to waste my money and take more probiotics or more CBD or whatever it is. But people really need to be their own advocates, because I've seen it over and over and over again be so transformative. And then once people find that optimal serving size for them, they usually stick with it for 2 weeks to 3 months, and then they can usually decrease, and they become very intuitive about this molecule, because their bodies start to self-regulate again.
Wow. You shared a lot of really good information. So if people are looking for a high-quality product, will they see on the label full spectrum and organic? Is that something they should be looking for on the label?
They should absolutely be looking for that. They should be going to the company's website and looking at how it's sourced or grown, which is huge because hemp and cannabis in general is a soil remediator, which means it pulls up all the toxins from the ground. And as we all know, our America is saturated with pesticides and herbicides and heavy metals in the soil, and you don't want that in your medicine. So a company that's transparent will post something called COAs, or certificates of analysis, that show the quality and integrity of the plants that they're growing, and that they don't have pesticides and heavy metals and microorganisms in them, because that is obviously not something you'd want in your food, and you also don't want it in your CBD supplement.
Yeah. And then another thing that you mentioned is hydration, and that is something that those of us who live in warm, dry environments need to be conscious of, and we live in Colorado, which is both right now. So is CBD absorbed better, or does it make any difference at all, if you're hydrated as opposed to not being hydrated?
Hydration doesn't make as much of an impact. The whole body works better when it's hydrated. The receptors that CBD works on are more regulated by omega-3 deficiencies. So if someone's doing everything right and they're taking high serving size of CBD, a lot of times we recommend a omega-3 to go along with it, so those receptors are getting repaired and rebuilt. And a lot of people are actually deficient in omega-3s because of the omega-6 dominance or hydrogenated oils or just some sort of toxicity in their body. So almost like an omega-3 would be the equivalent of helping CBD work like hydration helps and supports the body, the whole body work.
Wow, that's great information. Thank you. Now, I don't see CBDs on the shelf in the grocery store. I think it is kept to medical professionals at this point, which I think is a good thing. I think also when a new market opens up, a lot of people jump on the bandwagon, and initially there might be a lot of companies, a lot of products, and then it settles back down. Have you seen that in Colorado, a lot of different, hey, let's make product.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like there are like Lucky's grocery stores and Alfalfa's. A lot of the healthy grocery stores are carrying CBD. But the bigger chains have some like financial restrictions for carrying CBD until the hemp bill passes. So the more progressive, the healthier they are, the easier it is for them to sell it, just because of some of the banking issues around CBD. But I think it's going to be a very mainstream supplement in the very near future, and that's why learning about quality is going to be really important, because otherwise people say, oh yeah, I tried CBD and it did nothing. Well, I've tried poor quality supplements and they do nothing. In fact, 80% of most of the supplements out there don't have in them what's on the label, and that's why quality is really essential, not only with CBD but with everything, including food, including water.
Exactly. Now, I'm looking back at our intro. How much do I take? And you've said the minimal amount required. I know that you can't be a physician and make recommendations, but I believe in your company they come in different strengths. Can you share what those might be?
Yeah. Sure. So we have different strengths. So like starter bottles are obviously more of the 300 milligrams per bottle. And then for the people who start with a small bottle, just to test it out and, see if, we're walking our talk and it really works as well as we say it does. There's higher strength bottles like a 1,000 milligram liposome or a 3,600 milligram tincture. And that really helps people save money because it's almost like buying in bulk. So if people like it, it's always beneficial to buy a bigger bottle, save money, be consistent, and really use this as a preventative supplement, not just to treat symptoms and conditions, but prevention truly through and through is the best medicine. And since it works so profoundly on the central and peripheral nervous system and the immune system, people say, well, I have my health. Why should I take something? It's like, because it's so much easier to keep your health than it is to lose it and get it back. And the bottom line is we're going to pay for something. And if we're paying for health, it's going to save you a whole lot more money than paying for disease and trying to get your health back.
Amen. Yes.
Amen.
That is so important.
Yeah, because you're going to pay. You got to pay for your health. And if you don't, it's going to cost you so much more in the big picture. So prevention, truly, I can't emphasize enough how powerful CBD is as a preventative dietary supplement, because there's no system, tissue, organ, or gland it doesn't help bring back to balance as much as possible.
Wow. Well, we are going to go into our third and final commercial break. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden. My guest today is Christy Thiel, and we're talking about CBD and how it balances our body and helps with the stress response. And then in the final portion of the show, we're going to kind of bring it back around to the discussion of golden alignment and how we can create balance in our lives in a variety of ways. So please stay with us, and we will wrap the show up on the other side of this commercial break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment Radio Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices Radio Show, Golden Alignment, with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden. And this has been a fascinating and fast program today with Christy Thiel, who is educating us about CBD and the difference between hemp and marijuana and how it is a soil remediator, and we need to make sure that we have a certificate of, what was it, Christy? Of analysis. There we go. Certificate of analysis to make sure that the plant is grown in really healthy soil, so you're not ingesting something that is going to be harmful to you. We're talking about how it's a great balancing homeostasis and how it's particularly useful. Christy, you mentioned women and children and different responses to anxiety. And since it is non-habit forming and it is gentle and it's actually something our bodies need, we have receptors for them. They didn't just happen because we're talking about this subject. They have been in our bodies since we were born. And now we're actually able to talk about these things freely. So, do you have anything that you would like to share, like to tie this up, and how, you know, you're talking about prevention, and that's golden alignment. When you can keep your health, it helps you think clearly, make better decisions. So if you want to share a little bit along those lines, that would be great.
Oh, sure. So for me, personally, keeping health is really, really important. A lot of us have aging parents, and we can see the financial burden and the stress emotionally, physically, and financially of how not maintaining the integrity of health can really wreck a family and put a lot of burdens on people. And to have children grow up healthy is very important. So for me, the whole alignment part of this is that we need to become more advocates for ourselves and take more control back into how we care for ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. Not only what we eat, but how we think and feel. And CBD can touch on all those aspects, because when we're so stressed out, we can't get out of those negative feedback loops. Sometimes a supplement can be very beneficial just to take, just to help the brain work better and take those cues and triggers down a notch. And for memory, learning, and focus is really important. So we're making the best decisions. And then even helping with sleep, because that's when our body repairs and rebuilds. And let's back to the pain conversation. Sometimes CBD can be transformative for just deeper and better sleep, so the body can heal itself, which sleep is like an essential nutrient. Most people don't run well with very little sleep, especially chronic lack of sleep. So alignment, the golden alignment in health is pivotal for me in my practice and in the job that I do, because taking care of your health and your body is a spiritual experience, because it can be extremely distracting when you don't have it.
Amen. I wrote that down. It's when we feel better, we have a better thought process. You're talking about that negative feedback loop and, how do we get out of that? And when we're in that negative loop, then we don't sleep well if we're in worry about something. And so isn't it interesting that something as simple as a tincture, and I don't want to ever make this come off as being a panacea or snake oil sales. This really works. It really works. And sleep is essential. We have to have our REM sleep. Mm-hmm. Well, Christy, we have about 4.5 minutes left, and would you please share some of your contact information if people have further questions or would, like to know where a practitioner might be in their area?
Sure. Yeah, and I wanted to just say real quick, one of our fastest growing accounts are pharmacies. And I've talked to many pharmacists that carry CBD, and they are blown away by how well it works, and they know medicine very, very well. And they have all shared testimonies with me that have brought me to tears because they've never seen something work this well or sell this well for them. And so if you have any listeners, if you have practitioners or pharmacies that you like to work with and they need information, I would love to talk to them. And my name is Christy Thiel, and my phone number is 970-980-9068. And my email, which is probably the easiest way to communicate with me, is Christy, CHRISTY, at elixinol, ELIXINOL.com.
Great. And that information is on Christy's page on Inspired Choices Network. So please go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, look for the host, Beth Golden, and under the host page there's archives, and you'll be able to find this particular show as well as all my other shows. So if you've missed something and you want to listen again, that's the place to take a look. I love the fact that we can actually talk about this openly and create a health revolution in a new way in, a product that's really simple. It's really, really simple. We do not need to overcomplicate things here. We do not need to overcomplicate things. Well, we're approaching the end of the show, and I would like to thank you, Christy, for your wealth of information. Christy and I met. I was doing a talk in a holiday series, and we were having lunch, and she just happened to be sitting right by me. And isn't that wonderful how these things occur in life, and what a blessing it is to have your friendship.
Thank you, Dr.
Really...
Beth. And just to plug in for Dr. Beth, I've done her assessment, and she is a wealth of information, knowledge, wisdom, and I have learned so much from you, Dr. Beth. Thank you. And it's an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, the Ultimate Life Tool technology is amazing. You'll learn what motivates you, how to stay in the strength of that, love and honor who you are and why you do the things you do, how you do the things you do, and why that's important for you to stay in golden alignment. So you have been listening to Golden Alignment, one of my favorite two words because it fits in so many places. And I am Dr. Beth Golden, your host. Please stay tuned for our next show. That's next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central, 12 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Golden Alignment. Dr. Beth Golden will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, enjoy playing in that golden space where health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities appear in golden alignment.